Welcome back, lovely people. I trust you're doing very well. Today, we're going to be making a Eforiro in my own way. This is me in my Canada kitchen. I am currently in Canada, as some people know already. If you're new to my channel, welcome. So I'm going to be making vegetable soup, popularly known as a Eforiro. This is very common and popular amongst the Yoruba people in Nigeria, and that is why it is called a Eforiro. So I'm using this particular vegetable. It is called spring grain. I got it from the regular grocery store. I've been like trying my hands on different kinds of vegetable because, like, I am not used to doing this or using this kind of vegetable back at home. So I just blanched it for like 3 minutes. Like, I boiled it in water very quickly. I put it inside cold water to stop the cooking process so that it doesn't overcook, and then I'm just cutting it into small pieces. Of course, it's very soft at this point, so I don't even need to like overexert myself to cutting it. Just putting the knife to it is already cutting it. So like I said, the name of the vegetable is called spring grain, and I got it from my regular grocery store. I had never used it before. This is my very first time, but if anything looks like vegetable and I Google it, I research about it, and I think it is good to go, I will gladly use it. Please keep on watching this video. This was not the only vegetable I used in making my soup. I used another one. I used spinach as well because I felt this one was going to be too small and I just wanted to like really experiment. So guys, I'm going to be showing you the whole process. So I started with boiling my meat. I previously shared another video where I made some egusi soup, and this meat was used for like three different kinds of soups that I made on that particular day. So I have like goat meat, I have some beef. So I'm going to be adding some salt, some chili flakes, some seasoning, and of course onions as well. Anytime I boil my meat, I like to use onions. I like to use a lot of ginger. I like to use some garlic as well. I just like when I infuse my meat with all those flavors. It helps me to build the flavors from the beginning, and it enhances everything even before the whole meal is made. So this is another thing I do. I don't add water from the beginning. I'll just make it like marinate in its own juice first. I'll mix it very well for like 3 minutes. I'll cover it up for it to cook, and then after about 5 to 10 minutes, I'm going to like open it up, and then at this time I'm going to be adding water to it. You see that it has even secreted its own water with the whole flavors and everything going all around. This is going to be very, very tasty. So I added some shaki, or what we call tripe. You can get this from the African store. I got it from the African store, and it was like more affordable than what I actually even thought. I bought quite a lot, and I was so happy with everything. The only thing that was very expensive was goat meat, of course, and beef. I was like, oh my goodness, I wish the goat meat could be as cheap as like the shaki. But either way, we have to move. I can't do without goat meat. I can't do without beef. I eat all that a lot, and I just like to have like a lot of things going on in my soup, a plethora of different things. So guys, now let's start the main soup. Now that I'm done with the meat and everything, I set it aside. I'll use it for all the other soups. If you can see, I have many other things going on the cooker. I have my palm oil. Of course, when you are making like vegetable soup, palm oil for me is a staple. Some people like experiment with other things, but I love my palm oil. I'll allow this bleach a little bit before the alarm starts going off. I just like to like bleach it a little bit so that to remove the rawness of that palm oil taste. And then I'll go ahead. I'll be adding some onions at this point. Onions and vegetable eforiro go together. This is not like the Igbo vegetable or anything, so I love to use onions a lot. This is the Yoruba vegetable. Without onions, I don't know. This is just peculiar for me. I love to use a lot of onions. If you watch my video where I shared how I prep my pepper in Canada, you would have seen this. I used a lot of I packed my peppers in Ziploc bags, and that is why I just brought it out from the freezer and I'm just transferring it into my pot like that. I'm adding some extra chili flakes because when I was prepping the pepper, I didn't use a lot of pepper because of my kids and all that, but I just had that at the back of my mind that by the time I'm making soups like this, I'll be adding like extra pepper or extra chili, as the case might be. Normally, they don't eat a lot of vegetable soup, so this one is just for adults. Do you get? And I needed to add like extra pepper. This is not even very, very pepperish because we don't really take pepper like that in my house, but just like you need that extra zing and all that. I added some crayfish. I'm adding some locust beans. I brought local locust beans from Lagos with me, dried locust beans, and it is serving the purpose very well. Like, I'm so glad I brought it. I added more seasoning because this vegetable was going to be a lot. I added some salt as well, and that's pretty much all the seasoning I'll be adding to this meal or to this soup. Just my crayfish, my locust beans, salt, and some like bouillon cubes, and that's it. I'll allow it. Has been frying for some time. I'll allow it to like fry again, and before then, I'll be adding my meat and everything. So you can see all the meat I boiled. After I finished boiling it, I separated it into like three different parts. I used some for my egusi soup, I use some for stew, and I'm using this last one for my vegetable soup. So like I said, I'm just going to allow this like to fry again very well. I just want the meat to be well marinated into it so that everything is well infused. After it had cooked for some time, I felt that enough justice had been done. I was so satisfied with it at this point. There was no more rawness, everything was fully cooked, and it was time for me to add my vegetable. The vegetable you saw me cutting in the beginning, this is the vegetable. I froze it. I didn't use it immediately, so I froze it. I'm going to be using some chopped spinach as well. I got that one from the African store because I felt like the vegetable was not going to be enough. So I have two vegetables, the spinach and my spring green. That is what I combined, and guys, it was good. You won't even know that it's not the regular vegetable you use in like back home in Nigeria or anything. I forgot to add this in the beginning, so I added it at this point. I added some like smoked catfish and some stockfish. Don't worry, everything will cook together. I had previously like soaked it in water before, so it is not as strong as it would normally be. It was already like soft enough, and I just like poured everything inside so that everything would just like simmer together. And this is our pot of vegetable soup. Like when my mom tasted it, she was like to me, oh my goodness, you have to give me this secret. My mom, that is usually the one that teaches me, she was asking me for the secret. Like I was like, oh my goodness. So guys, I just wanted it to like dry out a bit. The vegetable soup, of course, vegetable, you don't even need to add water. I didn't add water to this stew at all. I don't add water in any way because the vegetable itself will secrete water and all that. And my husband does not really, we don't really like, everybody in my house, we don't really like, I like a lot of moisture, but when the water is getting too much, I don't like it like so much. So I allow it to like dry. At this point, I just like, at some point, I turned off the heat and I allowed the heat of the cooker to like just steam up the remaining part. I didn't want it to also overcook because vegetable for me, if it is going too much, if it is going too far, it will actually like lose the taste. So I just left it on the cooker at this point. If you can see, I had brought it forward from the main cooker so that the heat will not affect it too much. And thank you so much for coming to my kitchen. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned one thing or two. Don't forget to come back. We have many more meals to dish out. I'll see you in my subsequent video.